Hey guys, Ningen here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to talk about the two World Tournament reward cards, the base form Kale and Caulifla. I always do a video like this before the World Tournament discussing whether or not I think these units are worth the grind, so we will go ahead and have a look at them here. So they are the two new units that are added, and then we do get the awakening for the old STR Vegeta as well. I'll do a separate video on him probably. He's not bad. He can get up to like 200% attack, but unfortunately because he's named Super Saiyan Vegeta, you'd have to use him over like the physical transforming one, which he's just nowhere near as good as him. So I will try him out. I'll probably do a video. We'll see. But we're going to talk about the Caulifla and the Kale. They are very, very similar. They are designed to be run together, so it's pretty cool that you get them from the same thing. But whilst they are designed to be run together, there is actually some leeway there as well. So their leader skills are trash. We don't really need to talk about them. You're not going to use them as a lead. Maybe as a sub lead in Battlefield if you're newer, but you probably have better units for that. So they both raise attack and defense infinitely. So obviously for Dragon Ball History or Legendary Goku, they're very, very good. Bear in mind, by the time the 5-year rolls around, we are going to have a total of 6 stages in Infinite Dragon Ball History. So they definitely will be very useful for clearing that. So their passives are slightly different. Caulifla has attack and defense 60%, and then an extra 10% per Universe 6 ally on the team with no cap. So if you have a full Universe 6 team, you get the full buff, which will be what, 130% if it includes both leads. Then she has a high chance, which is 50%, of evading enemies' attacks including supers, and launches an additional super when there is an ally whose name includes Kale attacking in the same turn. So it has to be in the same turn. And then when we look at Kale, she gets Universe 6 category allies attack and defense, attack 20%, defense 10%. Pure Saiyans attack 20% and defense 10%. So just like the previous World Tournament rewards, like the STR Goku Black, she has this like split support buff that can be obviously given to both categories. So if they're in both, they get 40% attack, 20% defense. Then she gets defense 120% and launches an additional super attack when there is an ally whose name includes Caulifla attacking in the same turn. And yeah, like I said, they both infinitely stack their attack and defense. Now, what makes this really good is it says here when there is when their name includes Caulifla. It doesn't say has to just be Caulifla. So that means if you're using the AGL TUR Super Saiyan Caulifla that has the built-in dodge, that would activate her passive. If you use LR Kale and Caulifla, it activates their passive. It doesn't actually say. I feel like it should say in the notes down here because that's a pretty important piece of information. So that means you could basically run on a Universe 6 styled team, or even Pure Saiyans, I guess. You could run LR Kale and Caulifla on one rotation with one of these two, and then the AGL Caulifla on the other rotation with the other one. And then you'll have this part of their passive triggered. You'll have a unit on both rotations that infinitely stacks. Plus, of course, Kale and Caulifla themselves infinitely stack their defense. The AGL Caulifla is a little bit more of a liability, but she does have the built-in dodge ability. Plus, then, of course, there's units like the Super Saiyan Kale, who's the free-to-play one, who's a support unit. You could run her, and that would activate Caulifla's passive, as well as the actual physical, like Berserker Kale. That will activate Caulifla's passive as well. So they are basically designed to be run on a Universe 6 Pure Saiyans kind of build. I mean, you could basically run a full Kale and Caulifla team, pretty much. You just need to bring a Universe 6 or Pure Saiyan leader, because neither of them really have a good enough leader skill. I guess technically the best one out of the whole bunch is the AGL Caulifla, has the all types 70%, which is not particularly high. So if you stick them under a Pure Saiyans lead or a Universe 6 lead, you could then have both your rotations consisting of Kale and Caulifla units, and they would be very good. Obviously, Pure Saiyans, one of the best teams in the game, just because there's so many things to choose from. And of course, you don't have to use these other variations. You could literally just run a rotation of these two together, and then just any other Pure Saiyan rotation you want, like the double LR Super Saiyan 4s, something like that. Obviously, it kind of depends on the event that you want to go into, because Legendary Goku event and Infinite Dragon Ball History, as we know, can be easily crushed by enemies who infinitely stack their defense. So they can be very, very good when used together. So the point is, are they worth the grind? So I would say they probably are. But the good thing about them is, because they infinitely stack their attack and defense, you don't technically need dupes for them. Now, obviously, it means they will be a lot more squishy in the first few turns. But in, say, something like the Legendary Goku event, by the time you get all the way to the final stage, they'll have been stacking their attack and defense so much that they probably are still going to be taking double digits, even if you don't have a ton of dupes in them. So let us have a look at the listing here and talk about how you get them. Okay, so if we have a look at the score missions, so this is something they added a few world tournaments ago, and it's really, really useful because a lot of people only get a chance to do the missions, and the missions will get you a bunch of orbs, some Kais, some tickets, a few more stones, but then boom. Once you get down to 23 million points, which you can pretty easily get by the end of the weekend, even if you're not going super crazy on it, that will give you a copy of both of them. So you don't, basically, if you want to, I mean, obviously I would suggest you push down to 30 million and do all the missions. But you could stop at 23 million points and there you go. You have copies of them. And the cool thing about this being added is we used to have to wait for the World Tournament rewards to be given out a couple of days later to actually get the new unit. Whereas now, as soon as you've completed this mission, they give you the 2 cards. So then if we go and have a look at the actual rankings, here's another thing that is improved by that mission being a thing. So top 2000, you get 4 copies of both of them. Now it used to be, before that mission existed with the 23 million points, you had to finish in the top 1000 if you wanted to rainbow them, because that's how you got 5 copies, which obviously you need the base copy and then the 4 copies for their paths. But now, because you get 4 copies for finishing in the top 2000, finishing in the top 2000 is literally impossible without getting at least 23 million points. So as long as you finish in 2000th place, or I guess you'd probably want to try and make sure you're at least 1999th just to be safe, you will end up getting enough copies to rainbow them. Now, the problem is, to get in the top 2000, obviously you do have to grind. Now, normally, like a proper full grind that I do, if I go hard when I'm like working over the weekend, I can finish in the top like 100, maybe top 200. So top 2000 is definitely easier, but you can't, like, I've seen people, I know Goresh has done it because he's a bit of a madman when it comes to grinding the World Tournament. He skipped the entire first day once and still made it into the top, I think, 1000. So it can be done without grinding for the entire weekend, but you definitely will need to sink some time into it if you want to finish in the top 2000. Obviously, you could aim for the top 10,000 because that gives you 2 copies. Again, as long as you've completed the 23 million points mission, which you should probably have to get into the top 10,000, you can then get the 2 copies to open their bottom right and their top left path at least, so you can at least give them the maximum crits and additionals, which would obviously benefit massively. These kind of units, you obviously want to prioritize additional. Like we said, as long as you run them together, they automatically launch an additional super. So if you give them max additional in the hidden potential system, then you obviously have a chance to launch 3 super attacks and give yourself 3 stacks of attack and defense. So I do think that's very, very good. I don't necessarily think you have to, like when I say is it worth the grind, I do think they are worth the grind. Like, if you decide to put in the work to get to the top 2000 and get the 5 copies that you need for Rainbow, I would say that they are worth it. The other good thing is they do have farmable super attacks, so you don't need more than the 5 copies. You don't need to go for higher, because obviously if you finish in, like, say, like the times I have finished in the top 100, you get 8 copies. That would then give you the ability to have a couple of super attack levels without, but you'd still have to farm the rest anyway, right? Obviously, it's annoying when the World Tournament reward card doesn't have a farmable super, because that's then when you want to pull as many of them as possible. But because they do have a farmable super attack, you literally only need to get 5 copies, and then even if you don't want to use keys, you can like wait around for the event to come back. But I would probably use keys just to farm them up, because you can get a pretty decent event boost and get them to 10 fairly quickly. So I would say that they are worth grinding for. Obviously, don't go too crazy. Unfortunately for me, it's falling on a week where I am not working, and I have quite a few things planned for the weekend. So I will try and play. I'm going to try and at least do the 30 million missions. I would like to finish in the top 2,000, but we will see. I probably will stream some of it on the Sunday as well. So I guess we'll see. I'll try and stream at least once while the tournament is on. So make sure you stop by and check it out if you see that I am going live. But there you go. That is the Int Caulifla and the Tech Kale. Let me know what you think of them down below in the comments. Are you going to be grinding for them? I do think they are worth it. But let me know what you guys think. And let me know what teams you are going to use as well. I'm going to do a video tomorrow once the tournament actually starts, showing off my new favourite team. It's basically based on the one I used last time, but with a different leader now that we have STR Cooler, which of course, as I'm sure you can guess, is basically a transformation boost team. So I'll be showing that off in a video tomorrow. So let me know what you think of these guys and what you're going to do about the tournament down below in the comment section. And that is going to be it from your boy, the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. You can follow me on Twitch or join my Discord. The link is in the description below. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.